going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chunky! Got anything to say?
Get your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday. Decided to go on camera tonight. And I don't have any product in my hair, so my hair is kind of all over the place. Sorry, not sorry. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's having a great night. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Got a good case for you. I've got a civil case. Got a motorcycle, got hit by a car. The insurance company decided not to cover it, so he's suing the driver. It's a very interesting case. Very interesting case. And then I have a small bonus clip at the end. But hope everyone's doing well. You guys ready? Watch the court? Let's go. Before I hit that play button, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe, do your jump kick backflips. Let's go.
Clause 24-000011, Joseph Johnson versus Damian Mickey Rosales. Do I have someone here on behalf of plaintiff Joseph Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor, present.
Good afternoon, sir. And do I have someone here on behalf of Damian Mickey Rosales? Damian Rosales.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon to you both. All right. Now, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Rosales, are either of you attorneys?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Not a problem. You don't need to be a lawyer to be successful and enjoy your time or to present your case in justice court, but it is give information. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of instructions before we kind of go through the matters for things so that Mr. Johnson, as the plaintiff in the case, and I don't believe, is there a counterclaim in this one? No, I don't believe we have a counterclaim here. It's a little slow. Mr. Rosales, did you file a counterclaim or is this just standard defense?
No, ma'am. Just standard defense.
Okay, then Mr. Johnson, you're the plaintiff, which means that you have the burden of proof to show me that it's looking more likely than not. And typically that's considered the 51% rule. If I believe both of you equally, then Mr. Johnson, you would not win your case. You got to show me that it's more likely than not. And that's typically the 51%. We take everyone as true to start with, and then we say, can you get there? You will get to start the case with your first statement, and you would get to end the case with a closing statement. So the plaintiff always gets to kind of start and end things since it's you brought the lawsuit. Now, Mr. Rosales, you have a chance to make an opening statement and a closing statement as well. But as the defendant, you're able to just sort of be quiet and say nothing at all and wait to see if Mr. Johnson can start to show me it's looking more likely than not. Mr. Johnson can testify in his own case, and Mr. Rosales, you have a chance to ask him questions directly. Mr. Johnson can call you as a witness, and because it's a civil matter, you don't have a right to remain silent unless you think you're going to implicate yourself in a crime. If he asks you questions, you have a chance to what's called redirect yourself and kind of say, Your Honor, he's leaving you with the wrong impression. Let me explain that more fully, right? So we go back and forth with this. Because this is justice court, I'm allowed to what's called develop the case. So I may actually interrupt from time to time or just say, let me ask you a question, because what's important for me as the judge to look for as the legal requirements may not be what I'm hearing. I may be getting more of I may just get information that's informs why y'all did what you did, but doesn't help me reach a legal conclusion. So I may interrupt from time to time and ask a few questions. If either of you have any exhibits or documents that you want.
All right. Welcome all of the Biggin Raiders. Thank you so much, Biggin. I appreciate the raid. Welcome, everybody. Can my mods please drop Biggin's link? I know you're already subbed there. You guys most of you just came from there. But for the few people that may not know who Biggin is, drop the link. I would appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much, Biggin. That's awesome. Also, no, I was not drinking last night. I hung out with Heather all night. I made enchiladas. We had a great evening. I played Final Fantasy 12. No drinking. And yes, Heineken, is my... Oh, you're on a flight. I thought you were telling me my internet was bad already. I thought you were talking about me. Yeah, you're flying out to, did you say Turkey? I think you might have said Turkey. But hope you're having a great flight. Be safe and enjoy your trip. And hopefully you recover quickly from your shoulder surgery. All right. Again, thank you all, Biggin Raiders. Let's go.
Me to take a look at. Hopefully you've already submitted those to the court in advance, but on time to time, from occasion, we find things that come up, in the hearing. And so my clerk will always provide an email address, and you can email that over and we'll get it in. And Usually we're pretty quick, but we're running a little slow today, but we would be able to display that way. Okay. Now, Mr. Johnson, the first thing I'd like to ask you to do is tell me exactly what you're seeking. If you want money, tell me how much money. If you want property, tell me what property. And then tell me why you believe you're entitled to the money or the property. An example, I want $10,000 because I made him a loan. I gave him the money. He hasn't paid me back, right? Something
Yes,
like
ma'am.
that. Okay, so tell me why we're here, Mr. Johnson. And actually, first, let me go ahead, since you're both pro se, and swear you in. Mr. Rosales, Mr. Johnson, if you'll both please raise your right hand. Oh, fantastic. Do you understand that by appearing today and offering testimony, each of you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury? Do you so swear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Fantastic. Parties are sworn in. All right. Mr. Jameson, tell me what this lawsuit's about and what you're seeking.
Johnson, sorry.
Johnson,
No worries. The lawsuit is I'm seeking damages in the form of money due to loss of property, an auto collision that occurred on September 12th of 2023 last year. And the amount I would like to update from the original affidavit, the amount of damages I'm seeking would be $8,149.61. That amount I had arrived to based off the Kelly Blue Book estimated value of my vehicle, as well as the charges I incurred from the defendant's insurance company shipping the motorcycle to Dallas, then back. I incurred a $600 towing fee.
Mr. Rosales, do you want to make an opening? Would you like to make any statements now, or would you like to wait till Mr. Johnson is completely done with his case? It won't affect how I view you at all. It's just defendant always has a choice. What would you like to do?
I'd like to listen.
Okay, if you're gonna wait till the end,
Yes, Your Honor.
can do.
Yeah, it's the guy in the top right corner. What's his name? Joseph Johnson. Yes, he is. He was the guy on the bike. And then the guy in the top middle is the one who hit him. I really want to know who you guys think's at fault for this accident. I'm not going to give you my opinion until the end. At least I hope not. I'll try not to.
All right, Mr. Johnson, give me the who, what, where, when, and how. So when did this? This sounds like
Allie, they're going to tell you almost exactly where the accident happened, so you can tell me. They show pictures and everything. Now, when it gets to it, I did blur out a lot. I'm not the best editor. You guys all know that. So I take shortcuts when I edit. And instead of trying to figure out how to blur out just license plate, I just blurred out the entire screen. It only lasts for about 30 seconds, but instead of blurring out 10 license plate, I just did that. But that's not coming up for about 25, 30 minutes.
like it starts with an auto collision.
Yes, ma'am.
When
So
was the collision?
the collision occurred roughly 5:40 p.m. on September 12th, 2023. The where was on South Congress Lane, just north of Slaughter Lane. If you're familiar with the area, it's right next to the HEB and the Schlotsky's Deli right there. There's
The
if you,
HEB that's getting redone on South Congress?
South Congress and Slaughter.
Slaughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, the fancy new HEB.
Yes, ma'am. Right around there. So the where specifically was, I was leaving the Gold's Gym that's on the other side of South Congress, and I was exiting onto South Congress to turn left to go to that HEB to pick up dinner. At the time of the incident, the southbound traffic was at a standstill and had backed up beyond where my road intersected with South Congress. Me being on a motorcycle, there was enough space between cars for me to safely move between them. And as I was doing so, I had looked left and looked right and seen no vehicles were in the center turn lane. Proceeding forward at about 3 to 4 miles an hour. As soon as my front tire entered into the center drive lane, the defendant, Mr. Rosales' vehicle struck my motorcycle, throwing me off of it, sending me through the air. I didn't impact his car. I landed on my butt on the ground after he had driven under me. Didn't lose consciousness at any point. You know, immediately like stood the bike up, made sure all parties were okay. Called fire and EMS to the scene. I declined medical coverage because thankfully I was uninjured, and I believe Mr. Rosales did the same for himself. Had Austin police come out, and they didn't do a crash report. They had just documented us exchanging our insurance information. And then I had put a claim in with the defendant's insurance, and they felt that it was a shared liability in their opinion. And I have here some of the Texas driving code that I'll reference, where I believe that it was Mr. Rosales is holding sole liability for the collision.
All right. I don't want to get too behind on super chats. There's 2 cases, but the last one's only about 5 minutes. This one's about 45, 50 minutes. So I don't want to get too far behind on super chats. So we'll pause it periodically, but I'll try to find the best times to do it. Steve, thank you so much for the $2 super sticker. I appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. And Jelly Beans, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships, and welcome to the 5 new members. Thank you so much, Jelly Beans. That's awesome. And did he split lanes? I don't know the legal definition between splitting lanes. I think that's when you go like down the middle where you can, in between lanes. This guy cut through traffic at a stoplight. So there was a small gap in between cars. He was on a perpendicular street trying to turn left. So he pulled out through the cars in the middle, and the guy was in the turn lane driving up, and the guy in the turn lane hit the motorcycle. So the motorcycle's going through a small gap, and the guy was in the turn lane coming up, and that's where the collision happened. You'll learn more about it in a second.
And do you want me to reference the driving code in particular and walk through the specific clauses, Your Honor?
Hold on real quick. Let me ask you a question. So
Sure.
you're on a motorcycle, you're crossing out of the parking lot, you're wanting to get across Congress Lane.
Yes, ma'am. To turn left into the center turn lane to proceed north to go to the HEB.
Okay. And where was the defendant's vehicle? Was he in traffic on your side of the highway, or was he coming the opposite way?
I was attempting to turn north. He was heading south. So my contention is that he, given that I did not see him prior to the collision, I can't say for certain where he was. My contention would likely be that he was traveling south, did not want to wait and stay in still traffic, and decided to drive down the center turn lane at such speeds that I had no time to see him, and he struck my motorcycle with such impact that it threw me in the air over his vehicle to never even touch it, and then just to skip traffic.
Mr. Johnson,
I'm sorry.
the collision occurred in the turn lane.
The center turn lane, yes.
So you made it through 2 lanes of travel. You got out into the center turn lane. He was coming to the turn lane and he struck you.
About 12 inches of my vehicle were into the center turn lane. The majority of my vehicle was still in the southbound lane of South Congress.
Okay. So you're getting into the turn lane when the collision
Yes.
occurred.
Yes,
Right.
getting
Did
into
he strike
it.
you from the back or the front?
It was the front left-hand side of my front driver tire on my motorcycle.
And you didn't see him, even though he hit you in front.
Yeah. My vision at that time was looking to the right as I was going to be turning left to then merge into the northbound traffic. I had made the judgment that more likely, since it was at standstill traffic and the signal for the intersection was a quarter mile to the right, that there was a low likelihood for there to be vehicles moving at any rate of speed in the center turn lane. If there were vehicles, they would be stopped waiting
But
to
you weren't
turn
actually
in.
looking to the other side the way he was coming from.
I did look, and there was no vehicles that I could see, given that there was standstill traffic. And
Traffic is at a standstill. You've
Yes, ma'am.
weaved through 2 cars to get toward the turning lane, but you haven't actually made it to the turning lane. And you're looking to the right, and he came from the left and hit you.
Yes, ma'am.
Had you looked to the left to see if he was coming?
Yes, and I did not see him.
No one was there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, the guy on the motorcyclist is the guy talking, the guy in the suit. That is the motorcyclist. Now, again, like I said a few minutes ago, I don't know the actual legal definition of splitting traffic, splitting lanes. To me, that's when you're driving the same direction as traffic, just kind of you're driving down the center, like in between, like you're driving down like the dotted line. Now, this guy tried to cut through. He was trying to turn, I think he said he was trying to turn left. So he's turning off of a street, trying to turn left. And there was a gap in between the cars. So while the cars were stopped, he tried to move his bike between the cars, but there was a turn lane, and the guy that hit him was driving through the turn lane. So that's what the argument is here. So yeah, I don't know if that's technically splitting lanes, because he's not splitting lanes. He's just, if there was a big enough gap, a car would do that. And that's perfectly legal for a car to do. People leave room for cars to do that. So I don't know if that's technically splitting lanes.
All right. What traffic codes were you interested in sharing with me or highlighting?
Let me see. Transportation Code, Title 7, Vehicles and Traffic, Subtitle C, Chapter 4, it's Section 454.060, subsection B, specifying if a road is divided into 3 lanes and provides for two-way movement of traffic, an operator on the road may not drive in the center lane except, and it lists 3 conditions. 1, if passing another vehicle and the center turn lane is clear of traffic within a safe distance. 2, in preparation of making a left-hand turn. 3, when the center turn lane is designated by an official traffic control device for movement in the direction in which the operator is moving. After the collision had occurred, Mr. Rosales had said that he was attempting to turn into the HEB grocery store. Based on where the accident occurred specifically, his only opportunity to make a left-hand turn would be into the back of house area where the semi-trucks, do their deliveries. So
What kind of vehicle was he in?
he was in a Honda Accord. I'm not sure of the year offhand. I think it was about a 2014.
Now, you told me that you were also going to HEB.
Yes, I was turning left to head north, which would afford me a right-hand turn into the front parking lot. He was heading south, but saying that he was going to do a left-hand turn, and if he was to do that left-hand turn, he would only be able to turn into the back of house where the semi-trucks were, which is why I did not believe that was true.
I mean, I don't know. That sounds plausible.
Okay, maybe
It's not like I mean, people go in the back all the time. Just all right. So,
fair. And then the other part of this driving code, section 545.101, turning at an intersection, is the code for governing how for me to drive, and that specifies to make a turn at an intersection, the operator shall approach the intersection.
Was that an intersection?
What my understanding of with the driveway exiting the parking lot is a roadway, and where it intersects with another roadway is considered an intersection under the driving code.
Wixom, yeah, the insurance said that it's equal fault. That's why they wouldn't pay for the repairs on his bike. They said it was a split. Both of them were at fault. They were both equally at fault, so they wouldn't pay for it. So I don't know how that works based on insurance. Does that mean the insurance of the guy who hit him, the guy in the car, pays for his, and then the guy on the bike is supposed to, his insurance company is supposed to pay for his? I don't know how a 50-50 would work, but that's how the guy in the car's insurance company claimed it. It was a 50-50 fault, so they wouldn't pay for his bike.
All right, go ahead. You're turning at an intersection. What do you think he was doing wrong at the intersection?
Oh, no. This is the code governing my driving at the intersection, and it's specifying that I'm to approach in the extreme left-hand lane lawfully available, moving in the direction of traffic, which is what I had done. I had exited in the most left-hand lane that I could, and then after entering the intersection, to turn left, leaving the intersection so as to arrive in a lane lawfully available to traffic moving in the direction being entered. I was in the process of doing that. I never got the opportunity to complete that action as I was struck as I was entering into the intersection.
You were getting into the turning lane.
I'm sorry. Yes, the turning lane.
Okay, because when I think intersection, I think where 2 roads cross.
Yes.
Right. You're in the turning lane, and then you're going to try to get across 2 more lanes of traffic to get into HEB.
Yes. I'm not. I never actually made it into the center turning lane.
Yeah. No, he struck you because he was in the turning lane, and you were coming in, and he hit you on the front.
Yes.
So you got the front, I think you said like 13 inches of your motorcycle, and he struck you.
Yes.
But you didn't see him coming because you were looking the other way.
Yeah. And it's also my contention that he was driving negligently in that manner, and that he would be required to drive with such speeds that it's negligent to be adjacent to stop traffic like that. Because when he struck me, it literally just threw me into the air. I'm sorry. And I also have, I believe, on the call my witness, Mike Sledge, who was a couple cars back in, can provide his testimony from what he witnessed.
Right. Anything else that you want to share with me from your recollection of what happened that day?
Not at this current time.
All right. Mr. Rosales, do you have any questions for Mr. Johnson about his version of the events?
No, maybe after, but I would like to state what I wanted to say.
Mr. Russ, you have a chance to ask him questions. If you believe what he just said has anything that's incorrect, do you want to highlight that, or do you just want to wait and tell me?
Well, yes. And the fact that he said that he doesn't believe that I was going to the HEB. I was going to the HEB curbside, and the truck entrance right there also leads to the HEB curbside.
That's your testimony. I'm asking, do you have any questions for him? Like, isn't it true that such and such?
Well, is it not true that he also did not say he did not see me? And that's basically where a lot of my case comes from. That he did not see me. I was in the right of way. I was in the lane, and then he tries to come out and hit me. So, is it true that you really do not believe that I was trying to get into the HEB?
You know, I think that's okay. We're good. I got it. All right, Mr. Johnson, do you want to call any witnesses? Do you want Mr. Sledge? You said was someone who observed this.
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Sledge, you'll need to take yourself off mute, sir.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir. I'm not able to see you, but will you please raise your right hand? And do you affirm that you're raising your right hand?
I'll affirm that I'm raising my right hand.
All right. Do you understand you're now being sworn to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, fantastic. Mr. Sledge, where were you in traffic that day?
So that day I was exited to the Ghost Gym parking lot and I was making a right-hand turn. There was one car in front of me and there was a motorcycle in front of that car. The traffic in front of that gym, there are 2 lanes going south, 2 lanes going north, and then there's a lane in the middle that allows to turn into the HEB parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
The people that come into that area normally leave an opening for people that are coming out of the gym parking lot if they want to turn left. Again, you can't really turn right because there are 2 lanes, that traffic's normally backed up. Now, the light under the HEB, there's a lane, there's 2 lanes on each side with a light in the middle to turn into HEB. When you're coming out of the gym parking lot, you can cross that third lane, and there are no stripes, no marking, or anything. So people constantly make left-hand turns there. But in the lane that Joseph and them were in, I would say maybe 100 feet past that light at the HEB, it has yellow vertical lines across that middle lane, which means no traffic in that lane. And what I heard was this loud thump. When I looked up, I could see where Joseph was trying to turn left, and there was another car that was a little bit further down the road. Now, by the way, Joseph and I worked at the same gym. I had never talked to this guy until I saw him 2 days later after this particular accident. And then I saw this car that was a little bit further down the road. But again, there are 5 lanes total, 2 going north, 2 going south, a third one in the middle that will allow you to turn into the HEB. If you're coming out of the gym parking lot, there's a middle, it's that third column, no markings there, but a little bit further down, there are clearly yellow lines that say this is not a lane.
Mr. Sledge, did you actually witness the collision, or did you just hear it and look up after the fact?
Well, I was looking at the whole time.
Did you see the defendant collide with the plaintiff?
I did
Yes or
not.
no?
I heard the loud thing.
No. So you did not witness it. You saw the aftermath.
Correct.
Okay. And that day, did you stop and have a conversation with either the plaintiff, the defendant, or anyone involved in the accident or the collision?
No, ma'am, I could not, because it was like at 5 o'clock, and I'm gonna tell you there was traffic everywhere. Because like I said, once I saw Joseph stand up, I realized it was the guy from the gym. But I talked to him 2 days later and told him I was glad that he was okay, because from the look of that, from this look and sound of that, it was just bad.
Okay.
And that was the first time that I've talked to him.
Mr. Johnson, is there any particular reason that Mr. Sledge has relevant evidence? Because I appreciate that y'all made friends and then he saw you and he recognized you, but like he didn't actually see the collision. So what factual evidence do you think will be helpful from his testimony?
My understanding was that he had some direct witness testimony to provide. So if the court doesn't agree with that, then I suppose he isn't providing any relevant testimony.
Well, no, Mr. Johnson, I don't know. That's why I'm asking, right? I asked him if he saw it. He didn't. So
yeah.
What he said he didn't see it and he didn't talk to you until for 2 days later. So what information does he have that you wanted him to present to me? Because the better thing to show me for the highway is a screenshot. Like, give me a photo of where this happened. Do you have any pictures?
Yeah. Well, I had emailed an emailed a PDF of all
I'm
this.
just saying, is there any particular thing, a fact piece from Mr. Sledge that you would want me to hear that I've not heard? Because he didn't actually witness the collision, and he didn't speak to anyone the day of.
Yes, Your Honor. No, nothing from Mr. Sledge directly.
Okay, Mr. Sledge, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Mr.
Sure.
Johnson, you said you submitted some photos in advance. Is that correct?
Yes, I emailed them to you.
Yeah, Allie, you nailed it. I'm not going to bring it up because you put an address on there, and I don't want that on screen. But yeah, they're about to show photos. There's this guy's prepared. This guy's prepared. He has photos. He has like reenactment photos. You'll see a lot. That's what we're about to get to the ones that I completely blurred out. They're not relevant to the case though. He's just showing the bike on the ground, but it's a picture of traffic, and there's a lot of license plates. You'll see it when it gets there. Kind of, it's blurry. But I'll say that again here in a second. But thank you guys for hanging out. Tonight's awesome. You guys are awesome.
The court at 11:30 this morning.
Fantastic. Let's see if we can't take a look at these then. So I see an overview of the accident that's 12 pages. Is that the
Yes.
first one?
Yeah, I would say if you want to navigate to page 6 of that PDF.
Okay.
He created a 12-page PDF and submitted it to the court. This guy really wants his $8,000 from his bike because it was totaled. Like, yeah, he lost his bike, so I would too. I mean, I understand this. He thinks he's right.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen now, beginning with page 4 of 12. The first 3 pages seem to be a narrative, which is what we're going through now. So I'm not gonna read through those because I'd rather just hear it directly from you. But this is an overview. And how did you obtain this picture? Is this from Google Maps or something?
Yes, this is my own creation. I'd taken this from Google Maps, and I have a couple little drawings on here to indicate my opinion of the relevant parties' positions during the incident. So the blue triangle represents me on my motorcycle with the lines indicating my field of view. The green diamond would be Mr. Sledge behind me, and the green circle is a separate witness that had provided her testimony to my insurance company. But then when it came time for this lawsuit and I had reached out to her, she did not return my calls. So
I don't know. I don't know bikes. There are pictures of them. I do believe I have a picture of his bike on here because you don't see a license plate on it. I believe I kept at least one of them in. And also this, she'll zoom in on this. You'll see better. You'll see a better. Yeah, it'll be zoomed in. You'll see this better.
unable to subpoena her.
Okay. So let me see if I understand what's happening here. Here's HEB, right? On the right-hand side, the big complex with all the solar panels. This is HEB.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is the back of HEB, the loading area.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is the main entrance up here with all the cars, what the parking lot is.
Yes, ma'am.
Look at the size of the parking lot compared to the store.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now over here, buildings, is this, or is one of these buildings this Gold's Gym, or is it back here?
It's the secondary where you have your cursor currently.
Right here. It's the big one at the back.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then
All right, I'm going to rewind this about 10 seconds and then take myself off screen so you can see it a little bit better while she's explaining where everything is, because this is the only time they explain what these buildings are. They will blow up these pictures, but I want to make sure you guys see these buildings because it is relevant. So let's go back. All right, now I'm going to take myself off screen. It's a little bit easier to see now. All right, let's go.
Yes, ma'am.
look at the size of the parking lot compared to the store.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now over here, buildings, is this, or is one of these buildings this Gold's Gym, or is it back here?
It's the secondary where you have your cursor currently.
Right here. It's the big one at the back.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you came out this way down the driveway, and you were here,
Mm-hmm.
and you were going to get across the road.
Yes.
And your goal from leaving Gold's Gym was to go to this intersection and turn into HEB?
Yes, ma'am. Well,
So
first,
you had to-
I'm sorry.
No.
My intention was to turn north in the center turn lane, and then if time allowed, to traverse over the 2 lanes of traffic to turn right there. Or there is another intersection or a turn in. You can turn the parking lot further down the road if you're unable to merge in time.
Yeah. So you were going across these 2 lanes of traffic that were heading toward Slaughter.
Yes.
And you were going to then go across the turning lane, which that turning lane right here is to turn into the complex you're exiting from. There's nothing else to turn into, right? This is grass, and this is all yellow striped, so you can't be in that section of it.
Yes.
So this turning lane here is to facilitate people turning into your complex or further down into the back end of the HEB. So you're going to go across these 2 lanes of traffic.
Yep.
And through the turning lane, and then get into these 2 lanes of traffic and proceed down here and then get into the turning lane so that you can go into HEB. That was
Yes,
your
ma'am.
ultimate goal. That's what you were trying to do. Get
Yes, ma'am.
across these 2 lanes of traffic, the turning lane, and then through 2 lanes of this traffic so that when eventually you got up here, you could get into the right-hand lane and turn on into HEB.
Yes, ma'am.
That's where you're going.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as you got out here and you got into this section, the defendant was already came into this lane here and struck you.
I can't say if he came into it. He was just in there traveling at a high rate of speed, struck me, and that threw me over his car.
Got it. He struck you in the center though, because you had one tire in and he was there and he struck you.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's his contention that he was getting into this turning lane because he wanted to turn in up here.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rosales, is that correct? Does this look like an overview of where y'all were at?
Yes, I was in the middle. I was in the middle lane by the time he had hit me. Exactly where your cursor is at right now. By the time he hit me, he was trying to come out, and I was right there. And right as we tried to come up, but basically almost got to where he was trying to come out. I was right there, and he hit me from the side.
Yep. So you're saying he hit you, you didn't hit him.
Yeah, he hit me.
Okay. All right. So y'all collided right about.
I forgot that he claimed that he got hit. I forgot that. That's an important note, but again, I'm holding off my opinion.
Out here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then what's the second picture down here?
I was trying to illustrate my checking to left as I was approaching the intersection, and then to justify why I was looking to the right as my front tire was entering that center turn lane.
So even though you were in this lane, if you were getting through these two cars, you weren't looking at oncoming traffic. You were looking at this traffic because you were trying to get out ahead of that.
Well, I'm sorry. As I was in the leftmost lane, I was looking to the left because I had made the judgment that the higher
You
risk
didn't see
traffic
him
would
coming?
be. No, I didn't.
But he was coming from the left.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
So
How about
yeah,
this set of pictures, the second page here?
this was just showing where I was looking at the instant of the collision, which is why I didn't ever see him. Like that was just showing me looking left and right.
How about this? Is this a picture of the accident scene, or is this after the? When is?
All right, get a look at the bike. In about 2 seconds, it's going to be blurred. So you can't see any license plate here, but when they start zooming out, you'll be able to see a bunch. If anyone can tell me what kind of bike that is for the people that were questioning it, I don't know. I don't know bikes. Couldn't tell you at all. And my guess would be horrible, so I'm not going to.
This picture taken?
So this is
Okay. Here's the blur. Again, I'm sorry. As they zoom out, you're going to see a bunch of license plates, and even on the other side of the road. So again, instead of blurring out 12 license plates, all I did was blur the entire screen. Don't be too mad at me. You can still hear clearly.
I would say probably 60 seconds after the accident had occurred. All I had done was pick my bike off the ground. You could see on the image as you zoomed in, there are some scuff marks from my bike spinning from the force of the impact. So that indicates exactly where the accident had shown.
Now, if I'm looking at this picture, HEB is here, so you were coming from the left side behind these cars. This was Gold's Gym.
Yes, the Toyota
You got
Highlander.
across these two lanes of traffic, and we're in here when he struck you, and he had gotten into the turning lane somewhere up here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you were going to try to get through here and across this because you plan to turn in up here at HEB.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is the defendant's car?
Yes, and I think that this photo shows pretty evidently that where the point of impact is right there. Yeah, he was coming in and had struck my vehicle as he was moving south, and not me going into him.
I'm not a witness. I'm not an accident recreation expert. I don't know. What I see is he's got damage on the front passenger side.
Fair.
Right? I
Yeah.
mean, it is what it is. There's damage there. So this is his car. You're back here.
Mm-hmm.
Both cars were driven away.
No, I had to come and tow my bike myself. I had to store in that Schlotsky's lot until I could bring my truck over to pick it up.
Okay.
And I have evidence of the damages saying that it was totaled.
All right.
I kept this board because there's addresses on it. The number values aren't important to the case. They're kind of interesting. But yeah, there are multiple addresses on this, so just kept everything blurred. Didn't want to have the guy who hit him. Well, the car. I didn't want his license plate on either. Again, easiest solution for me being terrible at editing is just to block out a minute of video.
And then you filed a claim with his insurance, and his insurance said no because they found that you were equally liable.
Well, initially they said it was equally liable, and then after I'd launched the suit, it seems that they're not representing Mr. Estrada. And come after I'd served the suit in January, Mr. Rosales' mother, Miss Ruby Estrada, who was named on the insurance policy, had called me, and she had told me on that phone call at the time of loss that Mr. Rosales was not on the insurance policy, but her vehicle was.
Okay. So there's you haven't received any money.
I
Okay.
haven't received
I
any money. I told.
Information for everyone. Whether or not insurance ever pays or they offer to settle is not evidence of anything in court. In fact, it's typically not even allowed to be admitted, but neither of you are lawyers to know that object to that. And so I'm just curious, right?
Okay.
And I like how we came to it. Just FYI, y'all, good information. The fact that someone, an insurance company, did or did not pay or offer to settle is not evidence of anything, because insurance companies don't really care sometimes about facts. They care about what makes financial sense based on actuarial tables, cost, and all these other little factors that come into it, right? Just side information. Okay. All right. Any other information or exhibits that you want to show me so far, Mr. Johnson?
Just calling attention to, as Mr. Sledge had indicated, like the from that first vehicle that showed where the scuff marks on the asphalt were, showing where like my bike had spun around. That in its relative position to the stripe lines further north up on Congress would indicate that Mr. Rosales did an illegal driving action to enter into that centered turn lane to get up to the speeds that would be required to, after impacting my bike, have it just spin on the ground like that.
I don't know that, Mr. Johnson, right? Like when I look at this picture on itself, like he could have gotten into the lane right here the minute the yellow stripe ended.
Then I would, if you need additional convincing, I would say what I had made a claim in with my insurance company, and the Miss Roy, the other witness, also gave them a statement. If you would be willing to subpoena my old insurance company to have them release that statement, she was physically right there and did witness the actual incident to provide testimony that he was driving at negligent speeds.
The question is whether you were negligent as well. You got out in traffic and entered into a lane and weren't looking. What you've acknowledged in your opening statement was a very heavily traffic congested area. And in fact, the photo you showed me shows that the two lanes you were crossing were completely backed up. And Mr. Mr. Sledge, your witness, said the same exact thing, right?
Yes.
All the traffic is where you got struck by, and you weren't looking that way as you entered across it.
Right. The traffic is in the southbound lanes, not in the center turn lane where I was struck.
Yeah, but you were going across those two lanes into what is a turning lane where someone could get into the turning lane. And that's exactly what happened, right? He was in the turning lane and struck you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now he says that he didn't hit you, that you hit him.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I want to hear from you. So, Mr. Rosales, tell me your version of events.
All right, please don't. Okay, she took it off. I was like, don't. If you scroll out further, we're going to see license plates. All right, so I'm glad. Yeah, I thought I got all that out of there, but apparently I didn't. So at least you got to see it once without license plates in it. So I'm safe. I'm safe. Just don't pull it back up, Judge. I'm going to tell you now, I agree with everyone in chat. I agree. I think this guy pulled a reckless maneuver, and he's, he wasn't happy with the insurance decision, so now he's suing, the guy civilly. I mean, I guess that's his next move. Someone said that he should sue the insurance company. I don't know. I don't know what his best move is, but yeah, I mean, I can see why you'd be looking for a judgment against him. Also, for everyone who's been asking who's on the citation, they never bring the citation up. So whoever the police faulted for this accident, maybe the police didn't fault anybody. Maybe it was just a no-fault accident. So maybe that's, the basis of the insurance decision too. I don't know. But the ticket never comes up. They never bring up whatever the police said. So what I'm thinking is it's irrelevant, and they probably no-faulted the accident.
Yes, Your Honor. So exactly what happened is I was trying to get into the middle turning lane to try to go into the HEB curbside entrance, because I had a curbside I was going to pick up. So as I was traveling, no more than 20 miles an hour to 15 to 20 miles an hour, I couldn't have gone that fast in such a short amount of time. As I was going up, he had tried to come out, and as soon as I saw him, like last second, I try to turn to the left to try to avoid him, and as I do that, he ends up still trying to go. I'm not sure if like maybe he accidentally tried to rev his or like go forward with the thing with his motorcycle. But then as I'm trying to turn left, he ends up still colliding with my car, on the right side passenger side of my car, and ends up hitting me. And when I got out and after, he said he did not see me, which honestly made me believe that he was at fault completely. He knew that he was at fault since I had the right of way and then he had hit me. But it's from my understanding that he didn't see me. He ended up trying to come out and try to go to the left, the northbound, but ended up colliding with my car.
All right, Mr. Rosales, you submitted some exhibits as well, correct?
Yes, I sent 3 pictures. Basically, kind of an example of how I was.
Do you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. So how is it that they both used Google Maps to send in evidence? Now, in civil cases, you rarely have this, but both of them did it. I forgot that he did it as well. What I'm going to guess is the plaintiff, the guy who's suing. So the motorcycle dude probably submitted evidence because he seems on top of how the legal system works. I have no idea what he does. He's not a lawyer. He said that at the beginning. But I'm guessing he sent it to the defendant, so the defendant made his own recreations. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know. But this is weird that they both have picture evidence of Google map photos. All right, but let's go.
This is what you submitted to us. It's 8 pages. There's photos of a car, but then there's these 3 photos at the beginning, which are kind of a top-down photo in a similar situation. In fact, it looks like y'all might have gotten the exact same Google image.
Yeah.
Right? I could tell because the cars are in the exact same positions.
Yes.
When Google took this drone footage, all right? Don't we all love Google? What did we do before this? Okay. So, Mr. Rosales, here's your version of things. So, what is this red dot right here indicating?
Oh, I realized I put that a little bit too far up. Red dot should be a little bit more down, but yes. From there,
Mr. Rosales? Mr. Rosales, what is the red dot?
That would be my car. The red dot would be me.
And when you drew this diagram, are you indicating that you got into the chicken lane, to the turning lane back here?
Yes, a little bit.
And per your diagram, you were driving over the yellow solid striped line.
Yes.
Okay, so that.
All right, can we take a moment to just announce the judge just called it the chicken lane? I love that. I always called it the oh shit lane. Or another term I can't say on YouTube, the end yourself lane. It's either the oh shit lane or it starts with an S, end yourself lane. That I've called it that too. But chicken lane, I like chicken lane. That's a good one. I'm gonna start using that one.
You were already in the lane by the time you got to this.
Yes, ma'am.
The spot where you could have either turned into here, but you're actually trying to get to where?
I'm trying to get to the other entrance of HEB where
so in the bigger photo that Mr. Johnson gave us here, right, which is we can agree is this is the exact same Google map photo, only you zoomed in and he didn't.
Yes, ma'am.
Your red dot starts right about here. All right, let's take a look here. Yep, you literally drew your red dot next to the 275.
Yes,
so you said you got in here and we're driving all this way to turn in here.
Yes, ma'am.
Even though curbside is in the front.
Curbside is actually right there.
Over here.
And that side, January on the right side, and that's usually where
you got into the lane back here for a turn, so you were going to go past this turn to make this one.
Yes, I try to get into the middle lane.
Why did you get into the turning lane here as opposed to closer up here, right where your turn is?
It's still traffic.
There's no traffic in the center lane, sir. Were you trying to avoid the backup traffic here and go down the center lane sooner?
There was traffic in the center lane. There was a motorcycle in the center lane. So yes, there was. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Well, I got into the middle lane as right as you saw where I a little bit.
Yeah, no, per your diagram, sir, you got into the turning lane illegally because you got into it in the stripe zone. So let's say I ignore that and go with you in the best possible version of things. Even if I think you got in here. Why are you getting in a turning lane here in front of this intersection when you're not actually going to be turning in for another, I don't know. I won't even try to estimate that. But look at the length of cars. just over here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why not get in here to turn? There's no backup there. Were you trying to avoid the backed up traffic on Congress?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you got in the turning lane early because you wanted to avoid all this backed up traffic, and you were going to be turning further down the road at the next right-hand turn. Or the next left-hand turn.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And these are the same thing. What is this? Are you showing that is this supposed to be the cars that the plaintiff was coming between when y'all?
Yeah, there's supposed to be 3 pictures, like one showing kind of how I got in and like just how it progressed, and then kind of one of the pictures show on how when he tried to come out, we collided.
All right, and this is the damage to your front fender.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. Picture of his car.
Yes.
I'm just curious, is this EMS for y'all?
Yes, that was EMS that I read for us.
Okay. Is that his vehicle or yours, Mr. Rosales?
That is mine.
Okay. All right. So the crux of the question then for me, I think, is it illegal for the defendant, Mr. Rosales, to have been right here in the turning lane if this was not the intersection he was aiming to use? He was in fact going to be using one further down the highway. Right? And I think that's what Mr. Johnson is getting at, is that he thinks you are more at fault because you were already in the turning lane in his intersection when you were really trying to go into this one down here.
That in conjunction with I believe he was driving negligently, but yes, Your Honor.
I mean, well, okay. What's the speed limit on Congress at this intersection? I'm curious. Do I know what the speed limit for this stretch of Congress is?
45 miles an hour, Your Honor.
Any proof that he was going above 45?
I'm outside of hiring a transportation engineer to do some calculations based off physics. No. Yes, ma'am.
So we're really just stuck down to, should you have been looking as you wandered out into a heavy, heavy traffic congestion to get in the turning lane to get all the way across? Because there's no light here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
At all. And should the defendant, is it permissible for him to be in the turning lane this early when he is not turning until up here?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rosales,
Yes.
anything you want to add to that? Because I mean, that seems to be the heart of the situation. Right?
Only thing I could say is that I was in the lane before I had got hit, and then him, without looking into my right of way, he ended up hitting me.
I mean, I can't tell from the photos who hit who, right? I can. It's clear to me that y'all collided, but who hit who is completely, I don't know, right? Like I don't see Mr.
The point of impact, Your Honor, is yes.
Where is the damage on your vehicle here?
So on my front tire, there is the fender on the top side. You can see the chrome where it distorts right there. That was the actual point of impact right there. I have it in it's still sitting in my garage. I can produce more info of proof of that.
I mean, I can see there's a little warp here. I don't, that the fact that you both have damage to your vehicle doesn't indicate to me, think of it this way. If you both had a bruise, I don't know who started the fight. Right. And no one other than the two of you, neither of you seem to have, like, Mr. Johnson, you weren't looking. Mr. Rosales, you're saying he hit you, and Mr. Sledge didn't see it at all. So we don't know. I take you both to be true. The question for me is really it goes back to that situation then of, is it permissible for the defendant to have been in the turning lane that soon? And if it is permissible, who has the greater duty to be paying attention? I think I understand more and more why the insurance company said you're both responsible for this, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Plaintiff wasn't looking, defendant got in early. What is that? And Mr. Johnson, you highlighted sections of the transportation code about driving in the center lane. You said 45406.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just give me a moment. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and I'm gonna step away and grab a document. I'll be right back. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Johnson, I'm looking at my traffic code here, and I see section 5450605 is about operation of motorcycles. That doesn't really apply in this situation, but 545060, driving on a roadway lane for traffic, does. And it indicates that in a roadway divided into 3 lanes or more and provides for two-way movement of traffic, an operator may not drive in the center lane, and that's where the defendant was at, in the center lane, except 1, if passing another vehicle and the center lane is clear of traffic. 2, in preparing to make a left turn, and that's what he's alleging he was doing. Or 3, where the center lane is designated by an official traffic control device for movement in the direction. So that one doesn't apply. So he's alleging that section B2 is his reason for being there, that he was getting ready to make a left-hand turn. What other statutes were you interested in showing me, sir?
Continuing a little further beyond that was the 545101, subsection B. And that was the code governing my actions for making a left-hand turn.
Turning at an intersection. To make a left turn at an intersection. So you're coming out. Is this an intersection? Yeah, I mean, you're coming out of yours. So, all right, let's see. An operator shall, 1, approach the intersection in the extreme left-hand lane lawfully available to a vehicle moving in the direction of the vehicle. Well, you're coming straight out of Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
And after you enter the intersection, turn left and leave the intersection so as to arrive in a lane lawfully available to traffic moving in the direction of the vehicle.
Get out of the center turn lane is how I interpret that.
Mm-hmm. You didn't make it into the turn lane or just barely got into it.
Exactly.
On a street designated for two-way traffic, the operator turning left shall, to the extent practicable, turn in the portion of the intersection to the left of the center. To turn left, an operator who's approaching an intersection having a roadway designated for one-way traffic and for which road signs are posted, that's not what we've got here.
Yeah. The beyond that, I don't believe was
Safely
relevant.
turning. An operator may not turn the vehicle into a private road or driveway, otherwise turn from it unless movement can be made safely. Vehicle approaching or entering an intersection and vehicle turning left under 545 right-of-ways. To turn left at an intersection into an alley, private road, or driveway, well, that's not what we've got here.
Sorry, guys. I didn't remember that there was this much dead time right now. I took out the 15 minutes that she went to get her law book so she could review this. What are you guys thinking right now? I'm going to pause it because no, I'm not going to pause it. I'm just going to keep my finger on the pause button. She's going to start talking here in a second. What do you guys think? I've seen a lot of favoritism towards the guy in the car. The guy on the bike was the one in the wrong. I've seen some people say 50-50.
An
That's how
operator approaching
the insurance and the police both said 50-50. So that's where we're at.
an intersection from a street or roadway that terminates at the intersection, and that is not controlled by an official traffic controlled device, 1 shall stop, yield, and grant immediate use of the intersection to another vehicle that has entered the intersection from the other street or roadway, or is approaching the intersection on the other street or roadway in a proximity that is a hazard. And 2, after stopping, may proceed when the intersection can be safely entered without interference or collision with the traffic using the other street or roadway. An operator who is required to stop and yield the right of way and who is involved in a collision is presumed not to have yielded the right of way.
That's a good question. I don't know if they set a specific time. I'm going to guess it's early evening. The guy in the suit, Joseph, the guy that was on the bike, said that he was going to go pick up dinner from the HEB. And so with the heavy traffic right about then, he's just leaving the gym, going to pick up dinner. I'm going to guess it's anywhere between like 6 and 7, somewhere in that area. That's just my guess, though. And the pictures that they have of the damage of the actual crash site were all during the day. But yeah, I'm going to stick with my between 6 and 7 is what I'm going to say.
Here's an important caveat for you, Mr. Johnson. I think this might be the more important one for you. 545.155. A vehicle entering a highway from a private road or driveway. This is you, an operator about to enter or cross a highway from an alley, building, or private road shall yield the right of way to a vehicle approaching on the highway to be entered.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. Okay. All right. Anything further?
I guess I'm just asking for clarification. I'm of the belief that Mr. Rosales did not have right of way given his declaration of where he had entered, where the striped lines were existing.
Even if it's true that he entered too soon, where he hit you at, he was allowed to be there.
Yeah, yes, he was allowed to be there if we're disregarding the speeding claim. Yes.
I don't have any proof that he was speeding, sir, and I don't have any proof that speeding is what caused the accident.
I would point to the where the actual damages occurred in the images as proof of that. Given that the traffic was stopped, I was forced to enter into that center turn lane at essentially a perpendicular angle to the south traffic. So he would have had to have hit me.
He would have been going faster than you. That is true. But that doesn't mean that he was speeding in a way that makes him automatically at fault here, when it looks like you had to be yielding the right of way and paying attention because you're getting out into traffic from the private driveway.
I understand what you're saying. The clarification I was attempting to make was in addressing his claim that I had struck him, showing that the damages indicate that he had collisioned into me. But if that doesn't, if it's not relevant.
Did you catch that? The judge just did this. So I told you what I think I started to say my opinion. I told you I was going to wait. The judge is about to give her, I don't know if the verdict is the right word, but her decision. I agree that it's 50-50. I said that earlier. Dude, you're on a motorcycle. It's hard to see you, and you're sneaking through traffic. You got to be extra careful, man. I don't know if the car could have avoided this accident. They may have entered the turn lane too soon to try to avoid, the long line because they're turning left and there's no one in that center lane. A lot of people do that. I've done that before. I think just about every driver has entered the center lane maybe 100 feet too soon. It's something that happens. I'm turning left. There's no one there. I'm just going to go. That happens. You're on a motorcycle. You got to pay attention. People can't see you very easily. You're small. You're going through a tight-knit gap between cars to enter a center lane, and you're looking right instead of left. All right, that's my opinion. I think the accident could have been avoided if the bike would have just been paying more attention. I don't think the car could have avoided him. Unless he just, didn't enter the center lane. And, I don't know. Again, he may have entered it too early. But like I said, a lot of people do that. That's not an excuse. But I think it's right. I think it's 50-50. I really do.
For me, who hit each other is not what's overwhelming me here. And so I'd say that I think both of you are probably, I find it 50-50 here. And the requirement is more 51. And I do think that you have a greater duty to yield here coming into it based on that provision I just read. And per all the video and the evidence I've seen here, the collision took place right as you came out of Gold's Gym, which would have been in the turning lane. Right now, I would definitely say, Mr. Rosales, don't get in the turning lane before you need to be there. Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And just barely are you not being responsible for this. But I can see comparative liability on both sides. So for that reason, Mr. Johnson, it's going to be plaintiff take nothing. Okay.
Your Honor, I have one final clarifying question then.
Absolutely.
Am I able to appeal and produce a subpoena for the other accident that would have had visual confirmation that he was driving negligently?
Yes, you absolutely have the right to appeal. Both sides have the right to appeal. And Mr. Johnson, I'm pretty certain that you have 21 days. And the appeal is a little bit different for the plaintiff. It's much cheaper, actually, for the plaintiff to appeal a decision. And then if you wish to appeal and you move on to county court, you can seek a subpoena through the county court in advance of the hearing date. And you can also go through full discovery at that point. All right.
I guess just clarification. If the witness had indicated that she was willing to give testimony at the time of accident, and then in subsequent attempts to reach out to her, she hadn't been responding, am I still able to send the subpoena?
That's the reason for the subpoena.
Okay, fair.
If she's not wanting to come on her own voluntary coalition, you have the court issue a subpoena. You request it from the court. The court doesn't do it of its own volition because we got nothing to do with the case, right? We are
Yes, ma'am.
free and clear of everything. But if you have someone who has pertinent information that you believe would be relevant to helping determine the truth of the fact, then you have the right to seek a subpoena for that person. And if they ignore it, the court can take some action. But if they're refusing to call you back or they just don't want to be involved, that's the reason the subpoena gets issued, is because this person would otherwise like to just ignore it. And no, they have information they've got to come forward with.
Fair enough. Then,
Yeah, no, that's a great question.
I would just, then I would just close my closing statement. I'm still happy to drop this suit as soon as my property is replaced, but I'll likely be going the route of the appeal.
You already gave you can't give a closing statement after the judgment, dude. That was almost like a soft threat. That was him announcing to the guy in the car, Mr. Rosales, is that his name? If you pay me the $8,000, I won't continue this suit. Yeah, he doesn't want to pay the $8,000. He doesn't think he's at fault, because he's not. I guess we're going to have to wait for the other witness. We're probably never going to see how this resolves, but anyways, let's finish this one up. We got one more case after this. It's a short one.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you both. Thank you. I'm really glad that neither of you were physically injured. That's right. Especially Mr. Johnson, be careful. Motorcycles, that intersection. When I look at those photos, I think they need a light at that intersection.
Yeah, no, they do. And
that's pretty much everything on that section of Congress. That HEB has completely changed that intersection in a major way. South Park Meadows has changed everything over there. So
yep.
Look to both of you. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank y'all very, very
Thank you,
much.
Your
All
Honor.
parties are excused.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know what? No. I've said this, I think, 2 or 3 times now, but I don't know bikes at all. And when I saw his bike, it didn't look like $8,000 of damage. It didn't. He didn't take the best pictures for court, because it didn't really look like it was damaged that much. It looked like it fell over. But at the same time, I don't know bikes. Maybe something was, destroyed and it cost $8,000 to replace. I have no idea. Anyways, we're going to the last case. Before I go on to the last case, I do have an important message to say. All right. Okay. So I've been kind of not really procrastinating is not the right word to say this, but I've been holding off a few days to say this, but I need to say it, especially because, first off, Jacqueline, thank you so much for the Cash App, about a couple hours ago. I appreciate that, but I'm going to be sending you the money back. And here's why. I am no longer going on my trip this week. I was really excited about it. Something came up and I can't go. I have reached out to everybody that has donated to it, and I have offered to send the money back. Some of them took me up on that. Some of them didn't. But I am still going on the trip. I just can't go this week. So I feel bad that I was saying I was going to go. I haven't told Debbie Davis yet. Debbie, if you're watching, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Jacqueline, I was just talking. I was literally just bringing you up. That's funny that you just popped up. Jacqueline, yeah, I did. And I was going to wait till now because I wanted people to roll in before I announce this. But yeah, it would be incredibly irresponsible for me to go to this trip this week. I just can't do it. So I have reached out, like I said, I've reached out to everybody. Not everybody. There's still 2 or 3 people I haven't heard back yet from. And if I don't hear back from you, I'm just going to send the money back. But so here's what I'm offering. I'm still going on the trip. I just have to push it back a couple weeks. So I'll either keep it. I haven't withdrawn the money from my pay apps yet. They're still there. It's still there. So if you want it back, I'll send it back, because I was going to withdraw it right before the trip. But if you want me to send it back, absolutely. But don't say it here. No, Jacqueline, I was just going to say don't say it here, because I don't want any kind of judgment on anybody. So, but I appreciate it, Jacqueline. I appreciate it. So, but there are still, I think, 2 or 3 people that haven't responded yet. So check the messages, because you can send messages over those apps. So Venmo, PayPal, you can send messages. So go check your messages. I sent you a message. If for whatever reason I didn't, please email me. because if I don't hear from you within the next probably 24 hours, I'm just going to send you the money back. Just I don't want any hard feelings. I don't want people to think that, you know, I raised money for this and I'm not going. I am going, but I want you to have the option whether or not you want me to keep it for the trip that, you know, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 weeks before I go, but just giving you the option. So I can keep it for the trip or I'll just send it back to you. But please reach out either on email or Discord is the best way to get a hold of me. Or if you go to those apps that you sent me the money, you'll have a message waiting for you. Okay. I think I cleared that up. So that's why I haven't been promoting it the last couple of days, because I was waiting for the people that donated to get back to me, because I didn't want to come say it until I heard from most of them. And I've heard from, I think, like I said, everyone about 2 or 3 people. Okay. All right. That was hard for me to say. Everything's good. Nobody worry. Everything's good. I just can't go. I just can't go this week. But I am going. And I am going to go before Debbie Davis's election, because I do want to go meet her and, you know, have fun doing some kind of campaign thing for her. But I'm not going to be able to go this week. All right. We're done with this. I'm moving on. Last case, person with attitude. We got to end it on a different note, right? We just heard an hour-long civil case that frankly didn't need to be an hour long. And so now let's hear some dude yelling at a judge, right? Let's hear some dude yelling at a judge. This one's not long. It's, I think, 6 or 7 minutes long. All right, let's go. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. Let's keep going.
Your Honor, if we could call Mr. Page's matter. He is number 4 at the 2 o'clock, appearing via Zoom.
Mr. Page. Right. And can you hear me okay, Mr. Page?
Yes.
All right, and today we're here for a sanction hearing based on a previous finding of violation for proof of alcohol information school and victim panel. Ms. Capone.
Your Honor, I don't have any updates for the court. Mr. Page indicated that this is a financial issue. And then he had a friend who went to do the victims impact panel and was informed of what the content was of a victims impact panel. And he indicated to me that his older sister was killed in a car accident and he's not comfortable watching videos of people dying in drunk driving accidents. So at this time, I know that the court has reset this a number of times. I've taken down an email address for Mr. Page so that we can be in contact about what he needs to do after this hearing. But I would ask the court to impose a sanction of 20 hours of community service and close.
All right, State.
State's asking the court to impose 45 days and close this file, Your Honor. We have been addressing this exact issue for a year. I mean, the fact that yet again we're before this court and the defendant has a brand new excuse this time of why
Nothing brand new. I'm unemployed. You guys want me to
Mr.
pay
Page,
for something that's
Mr.
not
Page,
cheap?
don't interrupt. All right.
Well, I just
that is-
appreciate if we could speak facts.
All right, Mr. Page, we're gonna mute your microphone and limit
That's
your
fine.
participation in this hearing until it's your turn. Go ahead, Mr. Thompson.
You know, we were addressing.
Jacqueline, I saw your message. While I was talking, I actually gave you a shout out at the beginning of that speech. So I appreciate your Cash App. Thank you so much for it. And yeah, I will keep it for the trip. I will. And it's still happening. It's still happening. But it just can't happen this week. So it's probably going to be, I'm going to guess probably about this time next month. So it'll be kind of mid-July. I'm going to look at Debbie Davis's schedule and see what she has going on in that week. And because like I said, I want to go up there and do something with her, but it's also going to be with Judge Middleton. And I want to spend, a day and a half, 2 days there. But it's probably not going to happen until the middle of July. Just, like I said. So this was the only week I had free for a little bit. And Heather's coming to visit the first week of July. So she'll be here July 3rd through the 10th. So after that, we'll see. We'll see what's going on after that. So yeah, Heather's coming to visit. Yay, everybody. Yay.
Getting a substance use evaluation back in October of last year, where we were discussing the substance use evaluation, ADIS, victim impact panels. I mean, the defendant pled guilty 14 months ago. He then failed to appear in September of 2023. And I appreciate he did appear a couple weeks later to quash the warrant. But then in October, we're addressing substance use and victim impact panel. In January, we're addressing alcohol drug information school and victim impact panel. We're here in February addressing all of this, the ADIS and victim impact panel. We were discussing it. He also had a driving license suspended in the 3rd degree issue that cropped up there.
Thank you so much, Vic. I appreciate it. Very generous super chat. And yeah, I will. And like I said, I haven't messaged her yet. I need to, you know what, I'll do that right after the stream. I don't think she has to do any planning for me to be there on Thursday, but her parade is on Thursday, which is the parade I was going to walk with her in. So I'm going to have to figure out a different day to go hang out and do something with her during her campaign. Maybe I'll be walking door to door. I'll show up there the day before her election and help her with the door to door stuff. I don't know. We'll figure something out though, and I'm definitely going. And for whoever just asked, I was going to go to Sancho County, hang out with Judge Simpson, Judge Middleton for the day. You know, enjoy Sancho County, go hang out with Debbie Davis, do some campaigning stuff with her, and then spend the night, you know, somewhere close to the lake and like actually enjoy the area. Take like a day and a half vacation. But yeah, like I said, just can't happen this week. But it is happening. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for understanding.
Talking about how this has been going on for months. We're back in March. We're doing the exact same thing. We set it out to May, and we're here in early May, and we addressed the exact same issues. We renewed our request to impose in custody and close the file at that time. At that time, the defendant's reason for not doing things was he said he was suffering from COVID. We're here in June, and it's a new reason why he can't do something this court ordered him to do, something he agreed to pursuant to his plea.
Yes, Heather does need to pick her soap. She's still listening because she's texting me right now telling me that, you know, she's saying like, yeah, I know that was hard for you. I love you. Yeah, peeps, Heather, we need to pick out soap because we got to go pick it up. Maybe we'll both visit you, peeps. I know I picked it up from you on my way to the airport last time. Maybe I'll just bring her and you can meet her too. She just heard that. Now she's feeling pressured. I'm sorry, Heather. All right. Let's finish this video though. There's not much long, and I paused it a lot. Debbie Davis is here. Weed whacking outside and listening. Of course, you just heard that. Of course. Debbie. Oh, Debbie. I didn't want you to hear that this way. I wanted to message you and talk to you personally. But yeah, I will text. Well, now that you've heard that, I will reach out to you tomorrow, and we'll figure out a different day. But thank you so much for hanging out, Debbie. I appreciate it. What are you calling me for? What are you calling me for? Because I just signed you up for something? All right. We're going to finish this video. You guys are all awesome. I'm going to let it play out. I'm letting it play out now. Letting it go. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for understanding why I got to push the trip back. That was kind of a hard announcement for me to do. I've been holding off to say it for the last 2 days, but I had to do it. So you guys are awesome. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow's Members Monday. So we'll have fun. All right. Until next time. Bye.
45 days in custody is frankly a bargain, considering his ongoing non-compliance. I would argue is grounds for the state to move to withdraw his guilty plea and proceed on the original charges.
All right, Mr. Page, we're gonna allow you to unmute your microphone right now. All right, it'll Mr. Page, I am concerned that you haven't followed through with either of the alcohol information school or the victim panel since your last series of court dates. Do you have any explanation to offer me for any of that?
Well, like I said before I was muted, I'm not employed. These classes cost money. They don't have any waivers, any vouchers, any assistance. I'm expected to just be able to cash it out, and I'm not working. I'm applying for every job I can find, high and low, anywhere I can think of, but no, I'm not getting any hits. There's a job shortage right now, and it's affecting, I'm sure, maybe not you guys, but us everyday folk. And I just don't have the money. I'd be happy to submit a screenshot of my bank account to the court just so you guys can see what I'm going through. Like, I have 10 cents to my name. I don't have $200, $300, and $400 for these classes right now. I understand you guys want me to take them, but I don't have the money. I'm also a little frustrated with having to take them after I did the evaluation that said I don't have a problem. And then now I'm just being seen as the bad guy because I'm not able to complete these courses that I don't have the money at this time for. I'm trying to get a job so I can pay all my other bills and get this done. But unless there's some way the court's willing to help me out with the cost or waive the cost, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now.
All right. Well, Mr. Page, I'm not finding that in any way mitigates the failure to comply with probation.
I didn't expect you to.
And I'm concerned that displays remarkably little insight into what's going on here. So
I don't have money. That's what's going on. The classes cost money that I don't have, is
Mr.
what I'm
Page,
saying. That's the correlation.
Mr. Page, I want you to stop interrupting, okay? I'm not going to tolerate that. So I'm going to revoke probation here. I'm going to revoke probation, impose 10 days for the violation. The 10 days can be in no later than June 27th. That's 3 weeks. Once you've completed serving that sanction, then the probation in this case is closed, but not until then.
10 days for what?
So your probation violations resulting in a 10-day jail sanction.
So I'm being punished for not having money for something you guys want me to do. Is that what I'm understanding? Or am I not following?
All right, I think you're following perfectly well, Mr. Page. You've got till June 27th to turn yourself in to do that jail sanction for your probation violation.
Yes, can one of my mods please drop Peeps's link? She did actually just release a new soap. Was it yesterday or today? I watched the video. I don't remember if that was yesterday or today, Peeps. But yeah, this video is over. So Peeps makes amazing soap, and she has graciously given Heather a birthday present. So we got to go pick it up, and yeah, I can't wait. She did the same thing for Christmas, and it was awesome. So Peeps, keep up the good work. I'm keeping the video paused until I see the link come up, because the video's over and I want the link to come up before I leave. All right, I'll look it up. My side's delayed, so I know the second I start searching for it, someone's gonna post it the second I start searching for it. Yep, already. Here we go. All right, I have her. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Rich. Thank you. I was just gonna post her here. I'll post her YouTube channel. Yep. Okay. Bunch of people just did it all at once. All right, there we go. If you want some cool soaps, go visit her website. I know we posted her YouTube channel. Her soap link is in her YouTube channel, but luckily Rich was hanging around and he posted her website. Yeah, go check out her soaps. Go check out her soaps. She does it all homemade, and she has videos showing you how she makes them. So you can also watch her make the soap that you order. It's cool. It's cool. Okay. Now I'm out for real this time. So Let's go ahead on Discord. You guys are awesome. Until next time. Bye.
Not even in the state right now.
All right, Mr. Page, your probation doesn't close until you comply with that sanction, and you could be subject to further sanctions if you don't turn yourself in and do that time.
So I'm just supposed to stop my life and wave a magic wand when I
That-
just got done telling you I don't have the money for
Mr.
these
Page,
classes, and
your-
here we
your
are
hearing
further
is done.
discussing.
Just mute him. Your hearing is done, Mr. Page. We're going on to other court business. Mr. Ellington, do you want to jump in?
For clarification of the record, the
Since you guys have nothing better to do.
All right.